Winner, the webinar is started. You can start.
Madam, as the intro is taken by the Siddharth.
Yeah, so you can start the, okay. Welcome everyone. So today we have with us our faculty, CA Anand Purana, very eminent faculty. So I request to Siddharth, please introduce him before taking charge by him. Yeah, please Siddharth.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Anand Purana is a chartered accountant. He has done DISA and he is also BCS from JBIMS. He has 18 years of experience. He is specialized in tally training, implementation and customization. He has imparted tally training to more than 10,000 participants. He has successfully implemented Tally ERP 9 in various corporates. Currently, co-opted member of Digital Accounting and Assurance Board of WIRC, co-convener of IT Connect Committee of Chamber of Tax Consultant, core group member of Borivali Central CPE Study Circle. With this brief introduction, I would request Speaker Sir to take on charge. Thank you.
Thank you, Shweta ji, Siddharth, and Winner for inviting me here to share my knowledge on the subject. What I will do is I will straight away jump to my presentation, close the video part of it in the interest of the bandwidth and the screen space. So I'm closing my video and switching over to presentation. All right. Siddharth, let me know once the screen is visible so that I can kickstart the presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone, all the participants. Thank you, WRC, for inviting me here. I'm going to speak on the Tally ERP 9 cost center and MIS reporting. As such, it's a very small subject. As such, it's a very large subject. Depending upon how you are looking into this as a subject, how far you want to explore the Tally for the MIS reporting. So what I've done is I've done a small presentation and then I'll switch over directly to the Tally. I will keep on switching over between the Tally and the presentation mode. So when we talk about the MIS in Tally or the cost center in Tally, so this entire presentation is going to be divided into the 4 parts. First is I'm going to talk about the cost center. What is a cost center in Tally? How do we activate and all the questions around that? What is the concept of cost category, which is again related to cost center? What is the use of that, where people use it in general in the real life scenario? After the handling the cost center and the cost category, I will jump to the MIS reports in Tally. What are the default MIS reports available in Tally? How you can put to use the various features available in Tally for the MIS reporting. I will also, at last, I will also talk about the other possibility that if the MIS reports available in the Tally is not sufficient for you, what are the other possibilities? How do you extract the data from Tally? How do you link the Tally with the other commonly used software like Excel? All right. So, and at the end, I will take a question and answer. Out of this, at the end of the each session, each part, cost center, cost category, MIS report, and other possibility, I will pause for a couple of minutes and would like to answer the question related to that topic at that point in time. So I request the coordinator and Amit ji, if there is any question around that agenda, please throw up your question at that time. All right. So let me begin with the cost center. So what is a cost center in Tally? Although the name uses a cost center, but it is more like a profit center. It is designed primarily for the transaction happening during the year or profitability report, and it is for the analyzing the financial data with one additional dimension. A very simple example and a frequently quoted example can be, I have my P&L, sales, purchase, expense, everything going on. Now I want to analyze my sales along with the normal sales ledger. I also want to analyze the sales for a salesman. That means there is one additional dimension or additional angle which I want to attach to my tally data. Then the concept of the cost center comes into picture. We'll explore this onto the tally exactly. So let me just switch back to the tally. All right. So I hope my screen is visible. Now I will go on to one company. Let's say this VMR and Associates is a chartered firm or a tax consultant firm, and they start a practice and they want to utilize the tally with a cost center. So a very simple example, let's say they have created, so first part is activation. So how do they activate the cost center is by going to the F11 feature, accounting feature, and in the accounting feature, if you see here, there's an option maintain cost center. All right. So you have to make this question as yes, maintain cost center as yes, and accept the screen. Now let's say they have created a ledger called professional fees. So I'm creating a ledger. Professional fees, and it is there. They want to club it under sales. Now inventory is not affected for a CA firm, so I'm putting it as a no. And here a question comes: cost center are applicable or not applicable? So I'm putting it as a yes. Now the idea of the VMR and Associates is to track all the professional fees received. Which partner has done how much billing? All right. So there are let's say there are three partners: Virat, Mahi, and Rohit. Okay, and they want to track the professional fees received for each partner. So how do they do that? So they have just created a professional fee ledger. Now what they can do is they can create this three cost center. So I'm going to the accounts info, cost center, create. I'm going to create the three partner name as a cost center. So let's say the first partner is Virat. The second partner is Mahi. Third partner is Rohit. That's all. Under primary, I'm just putting it under primary for the time being. So that's why the VMR and Associates. Now, having done this, whenever they pass any entry of which affects the professional fees, Tally will ask for the information of the cost center. So let me just go and pass one entry. I'm going to book a sale straight away. It is good that CA firm is first booking a sales instead of an expenses. All right. So I will switch over to the accounting invoice since inventory is not applicable here. So let's say there's a customer A. I will accept the screen as it is, nothing to do here. I will say professional fees. I will say put some amount. The moment I put the amount and press enter, Tally will ask me for the details of the cost center. Now let's say this bill was generated by the Virat. So what I will do is I can either write Virat and Tally will give me the screen, or I can just press spacebar here and Tally will open up the list. I can scroll and select the name. All right. A very simple example I am giving just to understand the concept first. Then I will move on to the higher part of this. Let me just quickly raise a couple of more invoices. Let's say I'm raising the invoice on client A. I'm not saying cost center applicable to client as of now. I'm just saying to my revenue accounts, my P&L accounts, only cost centers are applicable as of now. I would say professional fees, let's say 35,000. And let's say this is being raised by the Rohit. And one more, and let's say this is for again for customer A. Professional fees. Now let's say in this invoice of 40,000, 20,000 services were rendered by Rohit and 20,000 were rendered by Virat. So I'm just breaking this up into two parts. All right. Good to go. So now let me just go back and see how does it looks like. Now I can go to the profit and loss account and see my sales account is reflecting professional fees as 1 lakh. If I go inside, further inside, it will show me all the three entries. All right. But it is just my normal sales booking, my normal professional fees booking. I'm not touching GST right now. That has been taken care of in the other session. I'm just saying, explaining the concept of cost center. Now, so this is my normal sales booking, whereby I will get my normal sale register, my normal client ledger and everything. Now, what if I want to see the partner wise breakup of this? So I can go from here also, or I can go to the display, statement of accounts, cost center. I can go to the cost center breakup. If I want to see for a particular partner, I can go and select the particular partner and see the F1 detail. Go to the professional fees, and if I go inside, if you see, first entry is showing me the 25,000 because it was completely being taken care by the Virat. Second entry is showing only entries of 40,000, but it is picking up in the Virat only 20,000. Reason being, because it was half splitted up between the two things. Now, if I want to see the detail, I will press Alt Enter, and again then press F1 details. So you can see Virat is only 20 here. Now this is for a particular partner. What if I want to see the breakup of all the ledgers or all the partners for the professional fee ledgers? So again, instead of a cost center breakup, I'll go to the ledger breakup. I'll go to the professional fees. And if you see, I will get the breakup partner wise. All right. So this is one example where you can use the cost center. Another common examples are people are using the sales breakup for a salesman, or they also use the cost center for tagging the expenses employee wise or the location wise. There are various possibilities around. All right, let me just show you on the expense side. Continuing the example, let me just show you on the expense side. So I'm going to create some ledger here on the expense side. I've created indirect expenses. Under indirect expenses, I'm creating conveyance, and again I'm saying cost center as applicable. All right, and let me just create a couple of more. Let's say printing and stationery. All right, let me have just two of them, and let me just go and see the entries. The entry remains the same, so I can pass a JV, I can pass a payment, whatever entry I pass. But the moment I select the ledger in which the cost center affected is yes, and I put the amount, immediately Tally will open up this sub screen for the cost center allocation, and I can select which partner has incurred this. I'm just giving the example of the partner. You may track it for the employees or a location anywhere. All right. So let me just give me one more. Let's say it's a printing and stationery. Don't go into the ledger or the amount. I just understand the concept here. Great. The moment I keep on passing this entry on the expense and the income side, in fact, I can then generate the entire P&L kind of the report for the each cost center. Not exactly in the P&L format, but yes, all the required informations are there. So I can say display, statement of account, cost center, and I can say the cost center breakup. If I now go to the Virat, you see, it will give me all the ledgers and the group tag with the Virat cost center, and it is as good as my profit and loss account for Virat. All right. So this is one example which I can immediately think of and give it to you. All right. Now, let me just create salesman, or I think it is one and the same thing. So activation and the entry happens this way. Cost center is only accounting concept. I will come to the inventory part later. Cost center is an accounting concept. Whichever ledger you create, Tally will ask you whether the cost center is applicable or not applicable. And if the cost center is applicable, you have to just say as yes. So whenever you're creating the ledger, it will say cost center is applicable or no, and you have to say yes. The moment you say yes, while passing the entry, it will pop up one screen in which you need to fill up the detail. You may break up the details also. All right. So that's for the cost center for the accounting entries. Let me just go to the cost center report. Although I've shown you a couple of reports, cost center reports are clubbed here under display, statement of accounts, cost center. There are broadly 4 reports available. I will come to the category summary when I deal with the cost category. First is a cost center breakup. So for a particular cost center, I can go and find out what has happened to that cost center during the entire period. I can change the period. I can go to the ledger breakup, and I can say, now let's say printing and stationery. I want to analyze the printing and stationery. That is also available, that Mahi has done the printing and stationery expenses. Or I want to say analyze the group breakup. I want to say the indirect expenses breakup. I want to analyze the indirect expenses cost category, cost center wise. All right. So it will give me the entire breakup from wherever I am. So this is primary from where I access the report. However, I can also be in any report. Let's say I am into the profit and loss account and under indirect expenses. And from here, I want to see the breakup. So I can, from here, I can go to the accounts report F10, and I can go to the cost center summary, and it will give me the cost center summary of the entire thing. All right. It will give me the complete cost center summary, including expense and income. If I go inside, I will be able to see the entries also. All right. So that actually, as a concept, it concludes the cost center. There is nothing more to discuss in the cost center. You can keep on passing the entry. You can keep on creating the masters and keep on tagging the cost centers. All right. What I will do is I will pause for a minute here and would like to answer any question which you are raising right now for the cost center only, because I have a lot to cover further.
Basically, Anand, there are 2 queries. One is how it can happen project wise, and how the sales area wise it can be tagged. These are the 2 major queries that has come.
All right.
Anand bhai?
So yes, Amit bhai. Thank you.
Project wise and sales area wise.
Project wise and the sales area wise. All right. So instead of creating the cost center for the partners, you could have created the cost center for salesmen, or you could have created the cost center for the project. But what if you want to tag partners also, you want to tag salesmen also, you want to tag location also, and maybe let's say you are not only satisfied with the professional fee only, you would also like to break it up into what is the income tax fees, or what is the statutory audit fees, or my area of practice wise. Okay, so now you want to tag not only the one dimension to your amount, you want to add multiple dimension to your amount. All right. So then it takes me to the next concept here in the cost category. So cost category is used along with the cost center. This is akin to cost center. However, this is used when you want to analyze your financial data with the multiple dimension. All right. So how do you do this? So first of all, let me activate the multiple cost categories. So again, I'm coming to Gateway of Tally and going to the F11 accounting feature. And here under cost and profit center management, there is a third question called maintain more than one payroll or cost category. So I am saying yes to this. All right. And I am accepting the screen. Now I'm not creating new data. I'm still on to VMR and associates. Let me just go back and see what has happened to my existing cost center. So I'm going to the accounts information, cost center. I'm going into the alteration mode, and I'm going into the Virat. Now, if you see previously, when the multiple cost category were not enabled, only 2 fields were visible here, name and under. Now, here the category is also enabled, and by default, it is primary cost category. All right. So let me just take an example that you want to track each sales and each expenses for a 3 dimension. One is a partner dimension, who is a partner handling this. Second is a salesman dimension, who is a salesman handling this. Third is your area of practice. What is the area of practice for which this invoice has been raised? Good enough. So let me just say, how do I do it? So I'm going to the accounts info. cost category, create. First, I will create this three cost category. So first, I will say partners. Allocate revenue item, yes. Allocate non-revenue item, no. Revenue item means my P&L ledger, which is by default yes, and non-revenue means my balance sheet item, which is by default no. I am keeping it as it is. So I am creating first cost category called partners. All right, let me create the second cost category called practice area, and maybe the third cost category called, let's say, salesman, or let us not the salesman, let's say location. All right. So now I have a three cost category: partner, practice area, and the location. Now, since I'm continuing in the same data, what I will do is I will first change the existing cost center. So I'm going to the accounts info, cost center, alter. First, I will change my existing three cost center. So I'm on to Virat. I'm just pressing a backspace or a shift tab. So I'm just pressing a space or backspace. And here in the primary cost category, I am pressing the space bar and I'm tagging the Virat as a partner. All right. Please be with me for the next couple of minutes and this concept should be clear. I'm going to the Rohit and again pressing backspace, pressing space bar and selecting partners. And going to the Mahi, pressing backspace, pressing space bar and selecting a partner. So I have changed my existing three cost center which I had created in the example Virat, Mahi and Rohit to the partner. If you see here also it is reflecting that Mahi is under partner, Rohit is under partner, Virat is under partner. Project A and project B is not reflecting. That means it is under primary cost category. I'm not touching project A and project B. I will come to it a little later. Now, let me also now create practice areas. So I'm again going to the accounts info, cost center, create. So since I'm creating under the practice area, so I will press backspace, press space bar and select the practice area. Let's say I'm saying statutory audit fees. Let me create one more, income tax fees. Whatever, I mean, whatever area of the practice you have, you can keep on creating those areas. All right. So this I have created as a GST. So I have created three partner cost center, three practice area cost center. Let me just also create the cost center for location. Let's say I have a firm which has a Maharashtra also and the Gujarat also, Gujarat office also. So I'm again pressing the space bar here, selecting the location, selecting a Maharashtra or Mumbai, whatever you want to name it. And then saying I'm having the Gujarat office also. All right. So I've created two locations. I've created three partner, three practice area, and two locations. Now let me just go back to the profit and loss account. This sales entries. I'm just removing these three sales entries so that it doesn't result into any confusion. Or let me not remove. Let this entry remain in the month of April. I will pass the next entries in the month of May for a better clarity. So let me just go and pass the accounting vouchers. I'm just now passing one sales entry. I will change the date to 1st of May. So it remains clear that only cost center we have done in April, cost center and category we are doing in the month of May. So I'm just passing customer A. Let's say my sales ledger remains the same, that is a professional fees. I'm putting, let's say, 1 lakh rupees as an amount. Now if you see, it will not only asking me the cost center, it is also added the field of the category. All right. So first of all, I am saying which partner has raised this invoice. So I'm saying partner Rohit has raised this invoice. Then cursor comes down. I will again press spacebar and the list of category opens up. I will say practice area. This bill is for, let's say, statutory audit fees, and location is this is the client resides in Maharashtra or Rohit works from Maharashtra office. Now, if you see here, just let me just go for a detailed thing. All right. If I come back to this entry, let me go to the professional field ledger and come back to this entry. I want to show you something. In the month of May, if I go and press Alt Enter into the entry and say Alt F1 detail, now if you see the 1 lakh rupees of the professional fees is allocated to the partner Rohit, statutory audit fees, practice area, and the Maharashtra location. 1 lakh rupees is allocated 3 times. It is not 3 lakh rupees entry. Please understand this clearly. If you understand this, you can further create the category for salesman, project, or whatever you want. I mean, your line of business, your area, how many categories you can create, practically n number of categories. When you are passing the entry, Tally will ask for the data for all the categories. You will need to tag for all the categories and all the cost center. Below the category, all the cost center. So this is how you do the multiple areas tagging here. Let me just go and show you one couple of reports here. The reporting part remains more or less the same, but still let us go and check this. So I can go to the display, statement of account, cost center. I can go to the category summary. Now under category summary also, just let me press shift enter first. Under category summary also, and I'm changing the period to 1st May to 31st of May for a better understanding. If you see, all the 3 categories have a 1 lakh rupees. If I press shift and enter here, the location is Maharashtra, partner is Rohit, practice area is statutory audit. So now let me just pass couple of entries in a very fast and see how does this report looks like for the month of May. All right, so let me just go and pass the entry. Professional fees. Let's see, this time it is for the internal audit, and internal audit were handled by the 2 partners simultaneously. So I'm going to allocate 2 partners equally, and it is for the practice area. Internal audit is not here, so I can on the go I can create from here directly. So I'm pressing Alt C, and I'm going to the practice area, saying internal audit fees, and location I'm saying it was a Gujarat location. All right, wonderful. One more entry. I can do the same thing on the expense side, doesn't matter. Let's say 35,000, and Rohit Virat has handled this. As far as practice area is concerned, this is income tax, and location is Maharashtra. All right, now let me see how does this look like month of May. So first I will go to the profit and loss account. I will change the period to May. A total 1,85,000 billing has happened. I would like to understand that from where the billing is coming, from which partner, from which location, from which practice area. Okay, you could have created the different ledgers also, income tax fees received, statutory audit fees received, but then you would not get the breakup into the partner ones. All right, so that is why it is important that you keep the ledgers accordingly, but at the same time you create the cost center differently for whatever dimension you want to tag in your data. So let me just go back and see the cost center report for this 1,85,000. So I'm going to the display, statement of account, cost center. I can go to the category summary. Now if you see, I'm changing the period to month of May. Now location is 185, so which is coming 50,000 from Gujarat and 135 from Maharashtra. partner-wise breakup is also available to me, and practice area-wise breakup is also available. Beautiful. So I will again pause here for a minute and address your query related to the cost center or cost category. Yes, Amit, any query on this from any participant? All right. I think Amit is not responding. Fair enough. We'll go back to the continue our session here. So let's just come back to the presentation and say yes. So again, I will come back to the concept of the cost center and the cost category. Cost center is for the one dimension, whereas the cost category is for the multiple dimension. All right. So let me just show you the comparison of this. Cost center is to capture only one dimension of your data. In our example, it was a partner. Whereas the cost category is to capture multiple dimensions. Along with the partner, you want to tag the practice area, location, salesman, or whatever you want to think about. The real life example can be we have one client who is into film production. Now they are using the concept of the cost center and the cost category beautifully, whereby they wanted to find out the profitability of each film. Within each film, they wanted to find out the cost incurred for each department. They have various departments. Okay, production department and marketing department, so on and so forth. So they wanted to do that. Then they have something called as location, where the shooting has happened. So I want to find out the location-wise expenses. And fourth, they have kept it as a miscellaneous. If something comes up for any particular reason, they have kept provision. So what they did is they created the 4 cost category: film, department, location, and the miscellaneous. And then they have created the cost center around these lines. And now they are capturing the data, everything under cost center and the cost category, and generating the report. So this can be for a project. Let's say a construction company has a multi-site projects. They are working on the multi-site. So as a construction company, I would like to capture the cost at every location. So that becomes my first category. That project becomes my first category. Within that also, let us say I'm doing the projects into the South Mumbai also, North Mumbai also, and Gujarat also. So I would like to have the area bifurcation. That in the South Mumbai, I have 3 projects, so I can do that thing also. Along with that, I also want to tag the salesperson who is able to sell my projects better. So there can be a salesman as a category, and all the salesperson would be created as a cost center there. Now you think about the possibility in which you want to extract the data from Tally. You will need to design that cost center and the cost category concept accordingly. All right. So coming back to comparison, cost center is to capture only one dimension. Cost category is to capture multiple dimension. Cost center is only one tagging to the entry or amount, and here it's a multiple tagging to the entry or amount. So the way I explained you, so if I go into the month of April, if I go here inside any entry of this 40,000 rupees or a 25,000 rupees, now the visibly it will look like this 25,000 is tagged only once, 25,000, because it's only cost center in the month of April. Whereas if I come in the month of May and go inside the entry and see the detail, it will look like that the 1 lakh is allocated 3 times. So it should be 3 lakh. No, 1 lakh is not allocated 3 times. 1 lakh is tagged 3 times to 3 different dimensions. All right, that helps in understanding. Cost center can be used independently of the cost category, like we use in the month of April. But for cost category to be used, it has to be used along with the cost center. So great, that completes the concept of the cost center and the cost category without inventory. I will come to the inventory. What if it's an inventory? Because if you realize, when I had activated the cost center, I went into the F11 accounting feature. So the cost center and the cost category is primarily an accounting concept. But what if I'm maintaining the inventory? So I will come to that concept also. Any question on the cost center, cost category? I'm again pausing for 30 seconds if there is any question, or move on to the cost center with inventory. All right, there doesn't seems to be any question onto this. All right, so I will move on to the cost center with inventory. So why this question has come up? Now, if you see, let me just create one inventory item quickly. Now, don't look into the VMR and associates because CA firm may not maintain the inventory. But let's say I'm creating one inventory item. Creating it as numbers. That's all. I will keep it very basic. And let me just create a ledger of a purchase. Inventory is affected, yes. Cost center is yes. All right. Now, the moment now I pass any, let's say, purchase entry, that's a creator one, and I'm taking let me change back to the item invoice, creator one, and I'll remove this ledger from here by pressing the F12. Common ledger is no. Item A, whatever quantity, whatever rate, I will say purchase. Now it didn't ask me about the cost center detail here, although the cost center was applicable, right? So why it did not ask and what to do about this? So there are problems around the cost center if the inventory is there. So what we need to do is, if we want to use the concept of the cost center along with the inventory, I will again go to the F11 feature, go to the accounting feature, and there is a next question called use cost center for job costing. This is very important along with the projects. Let me just explain you. So I'm saying yes, use cost center for job costing. I'm accepting this, and along with this, I will also go to the F11 inventory feature and say maintain multiple go down as yes. So I've made two questions as yes, maintain multiple go down as yes. Yeah, maintain multiple go down as yes. And in the accounting, I have said use cost center for job costing also as yes. Wonderful. So what will happen is now, let's say now I want to forget about the CA firm now. Let's say I'm a construction company and I want to track the project wise. Okay, so let me just create a project on information cost center. I already have a two project created. So let me just go back there. Project A, it is under primary cost category. I can create the multiple category also, doesn't matter. The concept of the category remains the same, nothing to do with inventory. Okay, so you first understand inventory with cost center and inventory with cost category concept remains the same. So I'm just going to explain you inventory with cost center. So let me just keep it as a primary cost category, project A. Now the question comes up, use for job costing. Okay, this question was not there previously. So question came up, I am saying yes. In project B, I am saying use for job costing as yes. Along with this, what I will do is I will also create two go downs. So I'm going to the inventory info, go down, create. I'll also create the go down. I can create the go down with any name, doesn't matter. But for the sake of simple understanding, I am creating the go down with the name of a project. And I'm saying set job or project for job costing. The moment my cursor comes here, Tally opens up all the cost center in which the job costing is said to be yes. So I will select project A. So what I did here is in the background, I have linked cost center and the go down with each other. So I've created two cost center called project A and project B. It may be under category, doesn't matter. But while creating the cost center, I have said use for the job costing as here. Yes. So this is the first step. And second, while creating the go down, I have said set job or project for cost set job costing, and I have linked that cost center with this. Okay. That is the only setup is required. All right. What needs to be done next? You can keep on passing the entry, like say for example, now I pass a purchase entry. creditor A, item A, and as far as as long as I'm selecting the go down or the cost center in the entry, it will go into project A. All right. So whatever quantity and the rate does not matter. I will tag it to the purchase. That's all right. Now let me just go and see the stock report first. So I'm having an item at 1000 number. Wonderful. Now let's say this out of this 1000, 300 quantities transfer from project A to project B. So what should I do is I should go to the inventory voucher. I'm transferring consumption and the production, source and the destination. So I'm transferring this item from project A to I'm transferring to project B. All right. Now let's say I pass a couple of sales entry just to complete the cycle and make you understand this.
Anand sir.
Couple of sales entry.
Anand sir.
Yes.
Anand
Yes,
sir, there's a
Aditya.
request to repeat a little bit about 2-3 minutes of whatever last session. You have gone a little fast. Probably few people are unable to recollect if it is possible for you.
I think it is must be for the cost center with inventory. So
Probably.
I will surely repeat this. I will surely repeat this. Let me just complete the first couple of entry
Okay.
on the sales and expense side, and I will come back to this.
No issues. Thank you.
All right. Since there was no question, I thought I'm going slow, so I just filled it up. No worries. All right. So let me just pass a sales entry. In the month of May. Let's say I sold this item from project A. Out of 700 which is remaining on project A, let's say I'm selling 200, whatever rate. It may be sales, it may be a manufacturing, whatever it may be. Let me just create a ledger called sales. Sales is already there. Sales of projects. Sales. Inventory value affected as yes, and the cost center as yes. All right. So this primary and the project. All right. Let me just pass one more entry for the expenses, and I will come to the report, and then probably I will repeat and take up the questions on this. All right. So let me just say the conveyance as an expense is the cost center is affected as yes. So let us say it's a project A. Project A is there, and allocating to project A. Now let me just see how the project A profitability looks like. So I'm going to the display. Again, statement of accounts. Along with the cost center, there is one more option which comes up. It's called the job work analysis. So I click on this. I go to the project A, and here you see the sales is tagged. Here the consumption is tagged. How the consumption has been arrived, or whatever was inward minus whatever was outward minus whatever is a closing stock, and even the expenses are accounted for. Okay, so if I click on the consumption and further click here, it will take me to the entries that how even the inventory values are captured. You see the purchase is captured, stock journal is captured, sales is captured. All right. So this is how I complete the cycle of the with inventory. Great. So probably I will take up the questions and the introduce you to the concept. See the concept of the cost center and the cost category you have understood. There were no questions around that. What I'm trying to say now is if you want to use the cost center along with the inventory, last pointing. So what you need to do is if you want to use cost center with inventory, you need to come to the gateway of Tally. First activate in the F11 accounting feature. First activate this question called use cost center for job costing. The moment you make this as yes, and along with this, you also make the second question under inventory, maintain multiple go down as yes. You need to make this two question as yes if you want to activate cost center and inventory together. The moment to do this, what I'm saying is I've created two cost center called project A. It can be under the category project, doesn't matter. But important thing to understand here is, here Tally asks me one more question. Sorry, use for job costing, which I have to say as yes. So I am informing the Tally that I am going to use this cost center not only for accounting but also for the inventory, because it's a job costing. I'm saying as yes. Having said this, only doing this is not sufficient. What I need to do additionally is I need to create a go down by going into the inventory info, go down and create. But since I already created, I'm going into the alter project A, and I have to say set job or project for job costing. And here I have to link. Now what list appears here? The list appear here is a list of the cost center, but not all cost center appears. Wherever I have said job costing as yes, only those cost center appear. So in effect, I'm linking this go down called project A with the cost center called project A. Naming convention can be different, doesn't matter. But for a simple to understand, I kept both the names same. It can be the different name also, doesn't matter. I'm linking cost center and go down with each other, and now I'm passing the entry. Whenever I pass the entry, if it is an accounting entry, I can select cost center. If it is only inventory in entry like sample or the stock written off or the go down transfer, I can select the go down, and still Tally will give me this report called job costing, job work analysis, and it will give me the entire report. Sales, it's a profitability, entire profitability report of project A, where all the sales, where the cost center is captured, all the purchases, outward, inward, all the direct and indirect expenses are captured. I hope that answers the query. So I complete the cost center, cost category, and inventory with cost center and cost category. Again, I will pause for a minute and wait for your questions. It's a bit difficult concept. To give you the practical example of this, where this is used, one of our client is into the raised flooring industry. So all the raised flooring which you see on the airport or the mall, glass flooring. Okay, so it's typically a project-based industry. So he is using this extensively, very beautifully. Yes. Yeah, Amit ji, any question?
Yeah, Anand sir.
Any question you would like me to address at this point in time for cost center in the cost category? Okay, now okay, Vinay says yeah. All right. Should I move to the next concept then?
Yeah, your voice is coming a little low. If you can speak a little louder. There is a request for a little louder voice.
All right. I will try my level best. Still, if it is not audible, let me know. All right.
To me, it is audible, but some people are having a little problem, it seems.
All right. Fair enough. So that completes the cost center and cost category and the comparison between the two. Now I move on to the second topic, which is the MIS reporting. Again, a very dear topic to me. People are going to the more and more MIS reporting from Tally, or taking up the data from Tally and designing the MIS report. I will try and address this both the concerns here. So as such, MIS report is a very wide definition. Any report which helps management to take any decision is technically an MIS report. All right. So, but why people are doing outside, why people are not doing inside? So let me just take up some of the topics here. It is a very wide topic. I may not be able to cover all the reports, because what may be the MIS report to me may not be MIS report to you. However, I have tried and capture some of the topics which may be relevant to the audience at large. So first, I'm going for the redesigning of the balance sheet and profit and loss account. A very beautiful concept and very old concept in the Tally. So let me just remain in the VMR and associates. Let me just go to the profit and loss account. So I'm going to the profit and loss account and pressing the Alt F1 detail. Now here, if you see, it is a standard Tally PNL. Okay, sales is coming, say professional fee sales of the project is coming. On the expenses side, conveyance, printing and stationery is coming. Let's say if there's a salary, it will also come. All comes alphabetically. Now I want to redesign my P&L account from here. So before that, let me just pass a salary entry. I'm just passing a salary entry in a flash. Doesn't matter everything to be in cash. I'm not into tax audit. So category and all those things you understood. So it doesn't matter. I'm just skipping this for the time being. All right. I'm not going to the category part anymore right now. I'm just on the redesigning aspect of it. All right. The point I want to make you understand is now this is a standard P&L which will have the list of the indirect expenses. All right. Now I don't want to look my indirect expenses like this. What I would like to have my P&L is people cost and maybe the office establishment cost, and then all the ledgers should be clubbed under this. So that is very easy. You will say what to do in this. Nothing great into this. So what I'm doing is I'm going to the accounts info, ledger, alter, going to the salary, and I'm instead of indirect expenses, I'm saying people cost or HR cost or whatever you want to say, right? And I'm clubbing it under primary, not under indirect expenses. I'm clubbing it under primary, and I'm saying it as an expense. And I'm saying, does it affect gross profit? No. So it should come below the line. All right. So salaries under people cost. Similarly, we had two more expenses. One is the conveyance expenses, which let's say I want to put it under office expense. Again, I'm putting it under primary, and I'm saying it is an expense. Does it affect gross profit? No. All right. So I'm accepting this, and I'm also changing the printing and stationery to the office expenses. All right. Let me just go and see the P&L. How different does it look now? All right. So instead of an indirect expenses, I have a people cost and office expenses as a cost. But I'm still not happy. I say my people cost is a major cost for me as a chartered accountant firm. It should come first. Office expense should come later. All right. And I want to regroup this, rearrange this. So how do I do this? I'm going to the people cost, pressing Control Enter from here. It will take me to the alteration of the group, and on the right side there is an option called F10 Edit Sort. So I'm pressing the F10 Edit Sort, and if you see, there comes one line item which is called position index in the report 500. Fair enough. I'm not touching this right now. I'm just coming back on the profit and loss. I'm going to the office expense and pressing Control Enter. Again, the position index is 500. That means all the expenses group which are created under the expenses, which does not affect the gross profit, has been given the position index as 500. All right. So what I will do now is office expenses is also 500, people cost is also 500. I want to bring people cost above office expense or office expenses below people cost. So I'm going to the office expense and pressing Control Enter, and I will just change position index as 501. And there you go. My people cost has come above and office expenses come below. All right. Within this office expense also, conveyance and printing stationery, I want to change this sequence also. So again, I can go to the conveyance and say Control Enter. Position index is 1000, and printing and stationery position index is again 1000. So I'm going to the conveyance and pressing the position index as 1001. And again, the sequence has changed. I can do the same thing in the balance sheet. I'm doing the accounting of the NGO, then the current asset should come above and fixed asset should come below. Here there is no fixed asset. Let me just post one fixed asset here. Quickly, I'm creating a ledger called computer under fixed assets and putting some entry there. Now, if you go to the balance sheet, fixed asset always come above, current asset always come below. But I am writing a books of accounts of NGO, which would like to have their balance sheet in the liquid format. Liquid asset should come first. So again, I'm going to the fixed asset group, pressing Control Enter. Position index is 40. All right. And current asset position index is 60. So again, I can change one of them. I can go to the fixed asset and I can say position index to be 61. That's all. My P&L and balance sheet is redesigned, and this redesign is per company. So you have a 10 company data in Tally, you can design differently for all 10 companies in the Tally. All right, let me just go to the next topic in the MIS. I hope this was relevant to you. Great. Let me just go to the next, which is a different MIS report without affecting the books of accounts or default report. All right. So there may come a time whereby I want to prepare some MIS report, but there is no accounting effect. Or let's say I am preparing the management quarterly profit and loss account where I want to put some expenses additionally, but it should not come as a, it should not hit my actual books of accounts. How do I do that? Okay. So let me just take this example and show you that. So I'm going to the profit and loss account, and I'm going to click on the first quarter. Now here the profitability is 563,500. Now say for example I want to book depreciation entry, but depreciation as a matter of fact I will book at the end of the year, but I just want to understand if the depreciation is booked here, how does my profitability look like? Or I have sent out a few quotation and quotations are approved. Okay, quotations are approved by the client. I have also started doing the work and it is on the verge of completion. So I want to book that income for my MIS purpose. I want to book that income in this quarter. Actually, as and when I raise the invoice in July, August, at that time it will be booked. But as a matter of MIS, I want to book that. So we'll take both the example and see how does it reflect here. All right. So let me just create one quotation here first. So I'm going to the accounts info, voucher type, create. I'm going to create quotation. Let's say CA form. So I'm giving it a name proposal, and I'm giving it under sales. However, I'm saying make this voucher as optional by default as yes. All right. I've done this. So let me just pass an entry here. I'm going to the accounting voucher. I'm going to the F8 sales. I'm taking up in a proposal. Proposal is dated 2nd May, but it is an optional entry. All right. So for this client, I'm going to do some work of the, let me just come back to the accounting invoice. Still I'm into optional entry. I'm going to say professional fees, whatever amount. All right. Now this is only for MIS purpose. Please understand this. This is not for actual. This is just a proposal which has gone in. So now if I come to my profit and loss account and select the quarter, it is still not reflected here. Reason, it was a optional entry. So the 2 lakh rupees entry is, and this 2 lakh rupees entry is not reflected anywhere. I want to now generate an MIS report saying कि अगर ये 2 लाख का income मैं ये quarter में book करता हूँ तो मेरा P&L कैसे दिखेगा? So for that, I'm going to the F11 feature, accounting feature, and on the right side there is an option called use reversing general and optional voucher. I'm going to make this as a yes and accept this. So this is just the activation. The moment I activate this question, use reversing general and optional voucher, reversing general, optional voucher and memorandum voucher gets activated in the Tally. So now what I will do is I will go and create one scenario. What is scenario? Scenario is nothing but what if analysis parallel of Excel. So this is a scenario in Tally, what if analysis inside the Tally. So I'm saying scenario. I'm creating a scenario and I'm putting it a name as a quarterly MIS. Do I want to include actual? Yes, I want to include actual. Further, what I want to include? So I will include all the proposal. That is a voucher type which I had created. I want to include all the proposal also. The profit and loss account. All right. Now, if you see still for this quarter, still profit and loss is 685 sales. But now I want to see what if that proposal is converted into sales invoice in this quarter. So I will click on new column. I'll click on new column. I will select the period and type of the value to show. Here under type of the value to show, all the scenarios created will appear. So I will select quarterly MIS and I will press enter. Show variance no. Now if you see, my P&L will get converted into two column, actual and quarterly MIS. Actually 685, quarterly MIS it shows 885, but I want to take a printout of only this column. I don't want to take a printout of actual column. So what I can do is I can use the arrow keys, take my arrow to the actual column and then go and delete column. It is just hiding the column. It is not deleting anything. It is just hiding the column. And here it comes. It becomes my quarterly MIS. Any questions onto this? Because this is again a very old but a very powerful tool. I can create any number of scenarios, any number of MIS report, which I think basically for MIS report also I will pass an entry, but I will put it as an optional. Say for example, I can also create a scenario. Let me just give you one more example of how do I use it. So I'm going to the accounts info, voucher type and create. Let me just create Ind AS JV. So my company is falling under the Ind AS. So I have to prepare normal account also and Ind AS account also. Or I want to see what is the impact of the Ind AS. I can prepare Ind AS or IFRS JV, whatever I want to say. I will say journal and I will say make this as an optional by default so that by error also I do not forget this. All right. And now that's a step one of creating a voucher type and tagging it as an optional. Second step is to create scenarios. So I would say Ind AS accounts, something like this. Include actual, yes. And in this, I want to include, apart from actual, I want to include Ind AS JV. All right. Now say for Ind AS accounts, so this is my normal profit and loss account for the quarter. Now for Ind AS, I need to book, let's say, the depreciation of 63,000. How do I do it? So again, I will go to the accounting voucher, F7 journal. I would select Ind AS JV. Now I would say depreciation, which is again my I can create under indirect expenses. Say 63,000 is a depreciation, and whatever fixed asset I have. All right. So again, this is an optional entry. So again, I can come back to the profit and loss account. Still, it remains my actual. It doesn't affect anything. I will just say new column for the first quarter, and I would say Ind AS accounting. And here it comes. I will come to the actual column and delete the actual column. Ind AS accounting, whereby even a depreciation is reflected. It is not affecting my actual books of accounts. It is only giving me the reports. All right. Any question onto this as a scenario management? Fair enough. All right. Let me just come back on my presentation part. So this is how you create a different MIS reports without affecting the books of accounts or default reports. All right. Both the example I have taken as an optional voucher. However, if you have noticed under the scenario management, accounts info, scenario, create, You have the optional voucher also, you have the memorandum voucher also, and you have a reversing journal also. All right, so you can play around with this and create different scenarios. Quarterly reporting, you have your holding company in the USA, so you can say the US GAAP reporting. I mean, it is up to you now, once you understood the concept. Fine, let me just come to the next topic. Analytical procedure, again one of my favorite here. uh, this comes under the CA module. So what I will do is I'll again come to Tally, and let me just open up another company, since I have some data there. uh, let's say ABC Enterprise. I'm going to show the next reporting on the MIS called analytical procedures. A lot of you must be knowing this, or some of you who have attended my previous session must be knowing this. So I'm going to the audit and compliance. I don't have to do anything. I'm just going into the audit and compliance, audit and analysis. Now, under audit and analysis, there is something called as an analytical procedures. One of the very beautiful report available inside the Tally. I'm pressing enter. Now, you know, we have a concept of the ledger account in Tally, concept of the group. So indirect expense, direct expenses are group. We have understood the concept of the cost center, and we have understood the concept of the cost category. So 4 dimension: ledger, group, cost center, and the cost category. Anything compared with the anything for whatever period you want. All right. So just taking a simple example, that I want to compare group with the group, whereas base group is a sales. I want to compare with the group called indirect expenses, and the period, it's an old data, so it's a period is current year is 16-17, previous year is 15-16, and I press enter, and there it goes. At the click of the button, the report is available. Current period sales, previous period sales, variance between the two, percentage increase decrease between the two. Indirect expenses listed here. Indirect expenses of the current year as a percentage of the current year sales. Indirect expenses of the last year as a percentage of the last year sales. Horizontal difference in amount, horizontal difference in percentage. I'm not only satisfied with this sales versus indirect, I want to add direct also. So what I can do is I can come here, I can click on the right side, advanced compare. I want to add the group called direct expense. There you go. After indirect expense, even direct expenses are added. So again, I'm saying ledger, group, cost center, cost category, anything with anything. Now, in our example, you have created cost center as a partner, cost category as a partner, and the professional fee as a ledger. You want to compare professional fee ledger with a partner, or you want to compare purchase as a group with the freight inward as a ledger. All right. You have to now understand what is the structure design inside the Tally, and then apply this. Again, this is very powerful. I'm going to show only one report out of this, and this is the analytical procedures. Next, ratio analysis and the cash flow and the cash flow projection. Again, these two reports are available since long. I just want to take up a couple of points out of this. So I'm going to the ratio analysis. So a few reports like current ratio, quick ratio, working capital, all those things are available. I just want to highlight one point here: receivable turnover in days. All right, if you click here, it will give you the receivable turnover in the number of days. So for example, let's say I go here, ACE infrastructure, I click here. So one invoice is cleared in 445 days, another invoice is cleared in 8 days. It works out the weighted average method, and it says that, you know, number of days on an average I'm getting the payment in the 226 days. Again, a very useful analysis, particularly if you're doing the internal audit kind of stuff, or even for the businesses. This report may be a good to look into when extending the credit or deciding the rates in the next transaction. I will not touch up the all other points. We have few more things to cover today. So I will, but yes, this gives a credit dashboard or a ratio analysis for the businesses. All right. And the next is the last I'm going to touch on this is a cash flow and the cash flow projection. So cash flow is also available in the default tally. Display, cash flow, fund flow, cash flow, and I go inside it and the cash flow is available. I can put the date and it gives me the cash flow. I can see the detail here. Okay, net inflow, how much is a net inflow? This is a cash flow as per the direct method. Indirect method or the AS3 cash flow is not available in the tally. It is available as an add-on module, which maybe in the last session my co-speaker will take up something on this. So cash flow is normal. Along with the cash flow, there is one more report called receipts and payment. It is same as cash flow. Only difference between the cash flow and the receipts and payment is receipts and payment report also gives me the opening balance and the closing balance of cash and bank. This is the only difference. Rest of the item remains the same. All right. And the last one is a cash flow projection. So I'm going to the cash flow fund flow, cash flow projection, and it will project a cash flow for me. How Tally will be able to project a cash flow for me based on the number of credit days I have decided on my sundry debtor and the sundry creditor ledger. All right, so it will say me that this is the current balance. This is what the receivables are expected month-wise. All right, and this is what the payables are month-wise, and it will predict me the cash flow. I can also, if I have the overdraft limit, I can also set the overdraft that I have a 50 lakhs overdraft. How does it look like after if I utilize the overdraft? So again, you don't have to do anything. A report is ready-made available. Only thing is, you need to, when you are defining the debtors and the creditor ledger, when you are defining the debtor or the creditor ledger, here credit days, whatever you define as a credit days, either here or in the entry, will be taken into that cash flow projection. Again, a good report to look into. Yes. So I complete the MIS aspect of this. So we discussed about the redesigning of the balance sheet and profit and loss, designing the different MIS report using the scenario management feature of the Tally, analytical procedure, ratio analysis, and cash flow projection. Any question I would like to take up, or I will move to the next section. Anything you want me to repeat or anything, any questions on to this? Amit ji, any questions are there, or I will move on?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, great. There's not seems to be any question from the participant today. All right. So let me now come back to the next topic. Before that, so I've just given you the example of the few of the MIS report. There may be the multiple MIS report like inter-godown transfer, or even the project-wise profitability. What we discuss is a kind of an MIS report. In the section of the cost center in the cost category, what we discuss, project A profitability is nothing but the MIS report. You really need to decide that what you require from the Tally and decide accordingly. Now, let me just come back to the last section of the presentation, which is other possibilities. Can I link my Tally data with Excel? And if yes, how far it is compatible, how far it can be auto updated. So let me just take you to this. So I will close this company. I will open another company called, I've prepared one data called Excel Tally. I'm going to the trial balance. All right, so there are some entries into this, okay, which gives me the liability side, asset, sales, purchase, and the expense. Some entries are already there. What if I want to link this directly to the Excel and work out the P&L my way, in the my presentation style? How should I do it? So I'm going to the Excel. I have already done the linking, but for you, I will do that again. So I'm inserting one sheet here. All right. Let me give it a name. TP what I can do is I can go to the data, I can go to the new query, I can go to the from other sources, and from other sources there is an option called from ODBC. So I'm clicking on from ODBC. It will open up one dialog box inside the Excel saying that which ODBC connection I want to establish. So I'm clicking on the Tally ODBC. There may be the multiple Tally ODBC in your machine. You just need to work around and see which connection is right. Secondly, you may have a different versions of Excel. So again, this interface may look little different in your machine, but that doesn't matter. Functionality remains the same more or less. So I click on the Tally ODBC. Now it is Excel is connecting in a real-time basis with the Tally, and it is fetching the data. All right. Now, if you see, it has fetched the name of the company, Excel Tally. All right. And out of this, it has given me all the tables of the Tally. Again, how to understand the table? It will come with you as an experience. But let us say I want to select the table called Ledger. So I select the table called Ledger. The moment I select the Ledger, it will show me the all the columns available in the Ledger table. I don't want to load it directly. So I click on the transform data. The moment I click on the transform data, it will open up the Power Query editor. Again, this is more to look into the Excel session, but just I'm linking it with live with the Tally just to make you understand. Now I don't want all this column. So what I can say is I can go to the choose column, click on the choose column. All right. What I want is I want a name of the ledger. Unselect all and select name. What additional thing I want from this is I want a parent. Just did something wrong. Let me just, yeah. I just want to select name. All right. Along with the name, I want to select what is a parent. Okay. And I want to select balance. These are the field name of the Tally. So I click on this. So it filters the data, it removes all other columns and keeps only this ledger name, parent, and the closing balance. So you will understand that this is nothing but my trial balance. All right. So I picked up a trial balance from the Tally. I am saying close and load. Now this is real time data. Now this is how I have picked up this trial balance. Okay. So this is how I have picked up this trial balance. Now, what if I change something onto the Tally? Will this be reflected here? So what I did here is from this trial balance sheet, I have created this P&L sheet whereby I have kept sales, purchase, GP, indirect expense, and the net profit, and have pulled up this from this worksheet. All right, I will show you in a moment how did I pick that up also. More to do with Excel, but you are a master of Excel. You can pick this up by giving the formulas now. So let me just go back to the Tally and show you. So in Tally, in the Excel Tally company, in this profit and loss, if you see the profit and loss is 130. All right. So yes, profit and loss is tallied right now. And if I want to check the trial balance, I can go to the Tally and say play trial balance and data. Let's say for example, conveyance expenses. So conveyance expenses is here reflecting as a 60,000 negative. Debit balance are reflected as a negative. All right, that is fair enough. I can do that just in Excel by saying here, let's say I incur another conveyance expense of 20,000. Therefore, in Tally, my conveyance expenses has been increased to 80,000 and my net profit has been reduced to 1,10,000. I'm coming back to Excel, and here I go to the data. Expenses has been changed to 80,000. Yes, and PNL has been changed to my PNL means my any report which has been prepared out of the trial balance has been changed accordingly. All right. Now there are a couple of questions. What if I add or I delete any entry? Will that be picked up? Yes, that will be picked up. What if I add any ledger, new ledger? Will that be picked up? Yes, it should pick up. Yes. So let me just show you one more example here. Let's say now I'm incurring additional expense of office expenses. Okay, it is not there currently into the Tally. So if you go into the Tally and say accounts info, ledger, display, office expenses is not here. If I type off, it is not here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass one entry with office expenses. So I'm creating a ledger called office expenses. Let's say I pass 10,000 rupees entry. All right. So now my Tally's PNL is showing me 1 lakh profit and the office expense of 10,000 rupees. Whereas my Excel PNL is still not updated because I have not pressed the refresh button. Okay. But before I press the refresh button, office expenses, I want you to take a look at this any figure. Let's say printing and stationery is 40,000. It should not change. Okay. So what I'm now doing is I'm going to the again data, saying refresh all. Yes, a line is added here, office expenses, and printing and stationery remains the same. And my PNL, because it was linked, it has also got updated. Interesting. Does it
Yeah,
look difficult?
No, it was very interesting. In fact, there is a request requesting you to repeat scenario management. I have told them if time permits, I will request Anand sir to repeat scenario management.
Yeah, definitely. I think we have a time. We will again visit the scenario management.
Yeah.
Any question related to linking of the Excel? Because it's very interesting topic. Previously, in the previous versions of the Excel, any new addition of the ledger was not supporting, but now it is supporting. So any new ledger added also gets updated. So as a matter of fact, if you link it trial balance once, your data can be updated regularly. Just one downside of this live linking is in Tally that company should be open. If some another company is open, it will give you the error. Okay, your report will go for a toss. So make sure that this company is open and you link the data. All right. No question onto this. I mean, I'm surprised really because this is a very interesting topic for me. How do you link? Which table can be linked? Which ledger can be linked? All right. So let me go to the next question. So this is the simple linking of the Excel and the Tally, where I have linked the live trial balance. If I do any changes on the Tally data, I have to just come here and say refresh, and it will refresh. All right. So wonderful. So I will come out of the Excel. Next is a Power BI. So again, Microsoft Power BI is a very powerful tool which links the Tally and the Power BI. So let me just attempt something in this. So I will close this Excel Tally company and I will open the ABC Enterprise. All right. I'm not going to show you how I have linked it, but I'm going to show you how does it look like. Okay, and what happens when you change something. So I've prepared one Power BI dashboard report for our discussion today. It's a sample report. Give me a moment here. All right. So this is a sample purchase dashboard prepared out of the purchase data of the ABC Enterprise. and again it is a live linkage. Okay, the advantage of the Power BI is that you can create lot of visuals, lot of dashboard. So it gives me the purchase of all the months. So this first tab is for the purchase of the entire company. Second tab is a month-wise purchase. Third tab is a month-wise purchase in a diagrammatical format. The tab down below is an item-wise purchase, of which item contributes what percentage. This in between lower side is the party-wise rate, item rate, party-wise item rate, and the next is a item-wise rate, average rate of the item. Okay. Now let's see how do I play around this and what beauty Power BI gives me here. So currently my total purchase is 14.04 million. I want to see only for the month of May. Okay, so I come onto this table and I click on May. The moment I click on the May, okay, my all the entire dashboard will change to May. So this figure has changed to May. This uh, pie chart has changed to May. All right. This was a very simple example. Now let me just show you one more. Now let us say I want to understand that this item contributes highest in my purchase, which is 27.9%. In which month I have purchased, from which party I have purchased, what was the rate. I have some queries onto this. So I click on this and my all table changes to this, and I realize that I have purchased in the month of May and June from some party called Cha LLP. The average purchase rate was 2146.66, whatever. Okay. Again, if I come and click onto this, it will give me the entire report. One more example. Now, visualize that a purchase department has this sample purchase dashboard with him, or a CEO or a CFO, a decision maker has this dashboard with them, and they want to see what is an B1 item and what was the rate which I am purchasing. So I'm able to see here the B1 item. I click on the B1 item and I'm able to see my all the dashboard changes to B1 item, and I see that I have purchased a B1 from this three party, Amco Industries, Machine Products, and Patel Engineering, and this is the rate at which I am purchasing. So immediately, while placing the next purchase order, I can know that from which party I have purchased, what was the average rate, and why the rate are differing. All right. I click on this again, it will give me this. Again, one more interesting aspect of this is here this tab is for the question and answer. I want to interact with my data, so I can just ask here actual example. I'm giving actual quantity of, let's say again the B1. So I type the B1 and it comes here. I click here. Or the build quantity of B1. See, it gives me the answer here. What is the build quantity of this item called B1H FFH 150 mm? All right. So there are lot of visuals I can create, lot of data filtration I can do. All right. Now my purpose here is not to teach you Power BI, but to understand how does it link with the tally, and what if something changes in the tally, will this figure and this dashboard will change. All right. So let me just attempt doing this. So I'm onto the purchase register. All right. So if you see on the purchase register columnar, if I go for the entire period, 1st April to 31st October, and I go into the value column, that is where this figure is coming, 14.04 million. Yes, this is where this figure is coming. Now let's say I'm changing one entry here. All right. So I'm increasing this by some amount. Let's say I'm increasing by 3 lakh. So instead of 224, I'm saying it is 524. So I'm increasing this by the 524. 524, 23.7. Okay. All right. So I've done this. I will come into purchase register. So giving it a date, sorry, changing a period. 1st April, 31st October. Just to check the columnar report, it has changed. The total has gone up by 3 lakh rupees. Yes. Now I want to update this live on the Power BI report. How do I do it? So here I'm just giving it as an export, and I'm saying purchase.xlsx export for pivot table as yes. I'm just exporting this file here. All right. It will take little time because it's a 7 months data and bit heavy data, but I just wanted to show you on some real data to have a feel of it. Just give me a minute, it will update. The Power BI linking and the MS Excel linking, what we have seen, principally works on the same aspect, but Power BI has a lot of features for representing your data in a visual manner. All right, so it is updated. All right, let me just go back to the Power BI and say refresh. Right, it is happening. Yes, it is refreshing. So the moment it will refresh, the figure should change. In a minute, it's a large data, so it takes. Unusually slow. All right, so it is still refreshing. So once it refreshes, this changes, the entire dashboard changes. Okay. So the idea of showing you to this, so yes, it has changed. It has gone up by 3 lakh rupees. So idea is you can now decide the MIS. Again, this can come even on the mobile. There's an Power BI application also, so you can give it to your clients. They can view on the web browser or mobile, or you can work as a MIS consultant and design this report. The base data keeps on coming from Tally, and you are just giving them a consultancy on MIS. All right. So if you have seen, there are in the MIS in the Excel and MIS in the Power BI, I have done some manual work. I went into the exporting of the data or refresh the data. Can this also be automated? Yes, this can also be automated with the help of the Tally add-ons or the Tally customization. Little bit of the Tally customization, and this can also be the auto refresh part can be taken care of. Yes, designing the reports in Excel or the Power BI still remains with you. So these are the other possibilities. So I conclude this session, and I'm open to questions and any other thing which you want me to answer. And the scenario management, yes. First, I will take up the question related to Excel and Power BI, and then I will jump to the scenario management again. All right, Amit ji, Vinder ji, any questions regarding Excel, Power BI? People are posting on the chat section.
Questions on Power BI as of now. They are expecting you to repeat the scenario management if you can.
Yeah, scenario management definitely I will repeat. Audience is good, not asking any question.
No, they're asking about how to maintain cash system of accounting, and because GST requires accrual and scenario management. These are the two major questions that has come. Repetition of scenario management and how to maintain cash management, account cash and accrual both.
So I will attempt both. I will first touch on the scenario management aspect one more time, and then I will also attempt to answer how do you maintain the cash system of accounting. Okay. All right. So let me just go back to the Tally. I'm closing this company and coming to again our VMR and associates. So scenario management, as I told you, a lot of MIS work can be done here without affecting the books of accounts. Okay, so how does this work? So first of all, what I did is I activated this feature under F11 accounting feature. I went into the use reversing general and optional voucher. The moment I say yes to this, the scenario management is activated. Okay, although not specifically listed here, but the moment I activate this as a yes, the scenario management feature is activated. Next, what I did is I created a voucher type. So whatever voucher type I wanted to create, Ind AS or a quotation, so I went into the accounts info, voucher type, create. Right now I'm going into the alter because I've already created that. So Ind AS JV. All right. Ind AS JV, I put it under the journal, and I put it, make this voucher type as optional by default. Okay, so I put it as an optional by default. The importance of the optional is any entry which is passed as an optional entry into the tally does not affect my books of accounts. All right. So, but where do I get this report? Display, exception report, optional voucher. So these are the optional voucher which I have passed under the Ind AS JV and proposal. It does not affect my books of account. It is parked separately as a separate register. It is parked there. It does not affect my actual books of account. Having said this, what if I want to see the report? So I went into the profit and loss account. Now profit and loss account, 685 is my sales and 563 is my net profit. So what I did is I created one scenario, accounts info, scenario, alter, and I have created a scenario called Ind AS accounts. I have included actual, and along with the actual, I am saying also include Ind AS JV voucher type, which I have just now created and pass the entry. Okay, so Ind AS JV optional voucher, please include this also. So whenever I inform the tally that I want to view the scenario report of Ind AS accounts, please include actual as well as include Ind AS JV. All right, this simple definition which I have done. The moment I have done this definition, I go to the profit and loss account. Still, it is not affecting my books of accounts. This is my actual books of accounts. I went on to the right hand side. I click on the new column and I said type of the value to show. I said Ind AS accounts. All right. So the moment I click on the Ind AS accounts and click enter, Tally will give me the profit and loss account in two columns, actual as well as Ind AS account. I came into the actual column and again came onto the right side and said delete column. This becomes my Ind AS account, which includes the entry of the depreciation. But if you see, this is an optional entry. Still, it is reflecting in my profit and loss account. Let me create one more scenario to explain you further. So I have created Ind AS account scenario, which includes the Ind AS JV, and I have created the quarterly MIS scenario, which includes the proposal. Now I want to include both, so I will say Ind AS MIS, something like this. So I would say please include sales, not sales. I have created something called the proposal and Ind AS JV. Please include both. So when I say Ind AS MIS, please include proposal also and Ind AS JV also. Now, if I go to the profit and loss account, actual profit and loss is not affected. I click on new column and I say now give me Ind AS MIS. So it will give me the Ind AS MIS. I can keep on adding the column also here. So first of all, let me just delete this column. This becomes my Ind AS MIS, which includes the additional 2 lakh rupees of the professional fees, which is an optional entry, and it also includes the depreciation part, which is also an optional entry. All right. Now, one more thing. This is my actual data. If I want to keep on adding the column, I can keep on adding the column. Show me the Ind AS account. Again, I'm clicking on Alt C. Show me the Ind AS MIS and show me the quarterly MIS. Everything is shown to you at a click of the button. on the side by side for you to view the data. I hope I'm able to answer the query and repeat the scenario management. All right. Fair enough. Any further question on scenario management? Or I will move on to the cash system of accounting for especially for chartered accountants. Although not the part of this, but still I would try and attempt this question to give you the fair idea. In the last session, probably my co-speaker will show you the ready module by which you can maintain the cash system of accounting as well as mercantile system of accounting. That is a ready module available. However, if you don't want to go for a ready module and you want to do it in the default tally, how do you do that? Okay, so see, under GST, we would like to maintain the accounts under mercantile system of accounting. Okay, so accrual system of accounting is what we need to follow. But as a cash, as a CA organization, we want to follow the cash basis of accounting. So just to understand this, for us as a CA firm, there are main two items which affects my cash system of accounting and my accrual system of accounting. They are the sundry debtors and the sundry creditors, majorly sundry debtors. All right. So what you can do here is, so this is my balance sheet, and let's say these are my debtor. These books of accounts of VMR and associates are written on accrual basis as of now. Let's say the sundry debtor these are outstanding at the end of the year, and now I want to convert this books of accounts from accrual to mercantile. How do I do it? It's a very crude method, but let me just show you how I do it or how I advise the people to do it. So what we do is we create a ledger called sundry debtor control account. Okay, and we create this under sundry debtors. All right. Next, we can create one more ledger called professional fees, or we can use the existing ledger. So what I would now do is I will pass out one JV, one journal entry. I'm clicking on F7 journal. What I'm doing is I'm reversing my professional fees. So let me just first understand what was my debtor. Okay, so I have a 6,85,000 as a debtor. All right, so let me pass an entry. I'll pass the entry because it will reduce my professional fees. 6,85,500. What was the amount I don't recollect exactly? To sundry debtor control account. All right. And I complete the entry. Now, if I go into the balance sheet, my sundry debtor has gone. If I click on F12, opening balance transaction. So current asset has come on this side, sorry. So if I see the sundry debtor, it is 0. Okay, let me just modify the entry to 6,85,000 and put it as a 6,85,500. So my balance sheet, on my balance sheet, sundry debtor is 0. Debit and credit makes it 0. In my P&L, my sales is reduced to that extent. In fact, that was the only sales which I had, so it is reduced to that extent. Okay. So my books of accounts has now been converted from accrual to cash. Next year, beginning of the year, I will simply reverse this entry. Beginning of the year, I will reverse this entry, sundry debtor control account debit to professional fees, and I will keep on accounting everything else on the accrual basis. Again, at the end of the year, whatever is debtor outstanding, I will come and pass this entry, and I will keep on converting from accrual to cash and cash to accrual. Right? 2-3 things to be kept in mind. For better control, you can enable the bill-wise detail under sundry control debtor account, so that you know which year debtor is pending, and in the real life scenario, you will also have the GST reversal to be done. outstanding GST reversal to be done if you wish to, or if you don't wish to, you can simply reverse the professional fee and the debtor control account. So this is how you can convert your, same thing goes with the creditor. At a one entry, you can convert your accrual to cash, cash to accrual. The advantage of this is, even when I have my balance sheet shows the nil, even when my balance sheet shows the nil, I still get the party wise outstanding. Okay, so this helps me in outstanding follow. Yes. I'm open to question again, Amit ji.
Yeah, now it is good enough. No pending questions as of now.
Wonderful. I was expecting more question on the MIS part of it, but good that there are no question. Yes. All right. So then I conclude my presentation here.
Anand, there is one question.
Talking to,
Anand, just 1 minute.
yes.
There is one question that has come, where to select analytical procedures. Need a path from where to select analytical procedures.
Yeah, it was on the analytical procedure is here under the gateway of Tally. If your company is a password enabled, okay, if the password is not enabled, that option will not be visible. So if your company is a password enabled, then this option would be visible on the gateway of Tally. Audit and compliance module would be visible. So you need to go to the audit and compliance and go to the audit and analysis and go to the analytical procedure. This is where the option is there. All right. Any other question, Amit ji, Vinay ji, Shweta ji? All right. If there are no questions, I conclude my presentation. Thank you so much, everyone. Pleasure talking to you this evening. I thoroughly enjoyed it, preparing this presentation and giving it to you. I have learned so much more thing while doing this presentation also. Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you, Anand sir. It was a pleasure to have your presentation on this evening of the 5th day of seminar. And I request Amit sir to say a few words about the presentation and the today's seminar also.
Anand sir, your presentation was fantastic. Even if I am working on Tally day in day out, I still had a lot of things to learn from your presentation, and I'm sure even the participants had enjoyed learning the scenario management as well as analytical procedures, and especially the Excel part of it and the BI tools that you have very efficiently used. So probably all the participants, I can see still more than 387 participants still logged in, and the number at peak was some 450 plus participants. So I think all of them have definitely learned how to use cost centers and other MIS reports. It was actually a very fantastic and very dimensional kind of learning. To be very honest and frank with you, even I have learned a lot of things, despite of the fact that I am also one of the Tally panelists. It's very nice lecture.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your kind words.
Yeah. Vinay ji, now we can conclude the session.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me give some vote of thanks to conclude today's seminar also. Good evening, everyone. I myself, Vinay Jain, deem a great honor to propose the vote of thanks to all those who have helped us in making this seminar such a resounding success on this 5th day of Tally Summit 2020. First of all, I would like to thank the speaker, C. Anand Khurana ji, for making excellent presentation and making this webinar interesting and meaningful with brief coverage on the topics like cost centers and cost categories in Tally, MIS reporting, analytical procedures, differentiation between the cost center and cost category also in this seminar today. And the way in which they explained on this particular subject was fabulous. I would like to thanks to the organizer, CA Amit Vaishapandi, and all the enthusiastic 450 plus participants of this webinar today. I request everyone to apply and be practical with the Tally also in future to remember all such learnings also. I must say thanks to you, everyone. Stay home and stay safe, please. Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Anand.
बोलिए